Picture a place where innovation is bred and ideas of hundreds of students are lived. However, as the younger generation continues to race forward with technology, are we truly considering those people that we are leaving behind? To put things into perspective, 73% of elderly people require assistance when using a mobile device or the internet. And not only that, 3 out of 5 Americans over the age of 60 suffer from eye-related issues, and 2 out of 3 elderly people have cognitive decline after the age of 65. Modern day applications and websites do not seem to help either, as the amount of information on the screen at one time will prove to be too overwhelming for these target groups. This is a problem that needs to be solved, and what you see on screen right now is a desperate need for change. This issue might at first glance seem trivial, but imagine an elderly person struggling to renew their documents because of a complex application or missing out on a serious treatment due to the complexity of booking a doctor's appointment. This might look trivial, but it is actually life or death. And so, we need to come up with a solution to solve this issue right now. And if not right now, then when? If only there was an add-on to existing applications to ease the minds of these struggling people. My name is Brendan Choo, and today I bring you Uncle, where navigation is simplified for everyone. So what exactly are we aiming to solve here? Remember that we are not trying to reinvent the wheel, but rather put an add-on to existing applications in order to improve it in terms of usability and accessibility. Remember that Uncle over here, this is not the product. The product is the AI and whatever logic is used to implement such features. So what Uncle actually does is it takes the eye and mouse movements and coordinates as well as other features in order to predict the issue that the user is facing while they are using the application itself automatically. And gone are the days where we used to scour through the accessibility settings just to be able to find an option that would change a small part of the website. Now with Uncle, just a click and using voice commands or text input, we can easily change the website with just this simple method. As for the vision, Uncle aims to ensure that everyone, no matter young or old, able or disabled, is able to use a technological device. And we want to ensure that they are able to do so independently and without guidance. Alright, now let's move to Brendan from the future to talk about the features of Uncle. Okay, let's take a look at the quick demonstration of Uncle. We can see the home screen of Uncle, which is intentionally stylized to simulate a complex looking website. The first thing we can notice is the red dot on the screen, which is used from a WebGazer module to estimate where the eye is looking at from the screen for the X and Y coordinates. So the mouse coordinates are also tracked as well as what the mouse is doing, such as scroll direction, the mouse click being down, and even what the div element the mouse is hovering on. So all of these values in a time series format will be combined and used to predict any values the user is facing. So for example, if the user is struggling to look at the text on the website, the deep learning model will predict so. And let me try to simulate it happening. Okay, so we can see a pop-up asking if the user wants the website to be automatically adjusted, and if we put yes, we can see the words on the website being larger, which is one of the ways we can automatically change the layout of the website. However, if you want to make manual changes for the website as well as other commands, we can click on this button here, where you can type a prompt, and if it matches the preset command, for example, we want to increase the font size, we type what we want it to do, and note that we can type a command with a slightly different meaning, and it will still appear as the top search results as well as other similarly matched commands over there. So we click on it, and yep, the changes are reflected. Let's try to modify the website in another way. Let's see, and there you go. Accessibility settings are done without having to go through various settings. So you can even speak out the command by pressing this microphone button and by saying out the command you want to be executed. A way to further simplify the website automatically is by typing simplify website in this icon that we did just now, or by clicking on this toggle, which allows the users to easily switch back and forth between a more readable version of the website. So this change would apply for all pages of the website. And let's say a user wants to keep the settings of the website as their last visit. They may choose to sign in or sign up if they are a new user to the website. So since we are a new user, we may choose to sign up. And a reason why I'm only using this email is that it's just a simple ID for each of the users' data to be stored. And it will be simpler for users, especially elderly, to sign up if it was just a type of website that does not use private information like this one. However, this idea also works for larger applications as well. Let's say YouTube, Facebook, and so on and so forth that needs a password. So for new users, however, they could be subjected to an onboarding session where you can see over here, they undergo a quick series of tests to determine any issues that they have before moving on to the meat of the website, which are a fun, engaging series of tests to test their understanding of a website and also their coordination skills, like what I'm doing over here with this basketball, and also reading capabilities. So the onboarding tasks have been simplified for time, and through this we can determine if a user is having an issue, and the website will be changed according to the onboarding results. For my case, I did it perfectly. There should be no issue detected, so the website will remain as it is. But in some cases, the text will be larger, the website will be simplified as per what I said earlier. So let's move on to other pages, but in fact, we can also do so by typing in a command for navigation. This would be especially helpful if there is a website with a lot of pages and the user only remembers a sort of description of what the page does instead of the exact name of it. Let's say a Google Cloud platform, which is a good example. So you can easily navigate to the exact page with ease, and in this case, the About page. In short, this page would give the users a brief understanding of the features of Uncle. So moving on, we can look at the navigation functionality of Uncle, and yes, this is indeed a mock recreation of Instagram, and the images are taken from Pixum. The reason for this image is to demonstrate how Uncle helps a person being unfamiliar with, let's say, Instagram to help navigate through it. For example, if they are unsure of how to save this post, for example, they can just type what they wish to achieve over here, and the guide will pinpoint on the screen what they will need to click on, allowing the user to also learn from the experience and be better at navigating. Lastly, we also have the filter function as an additional Uncle feature. This, like the others, is also a mock demonstration of how the filtering process can occur with just a simple sentence. As such, we have created a method to ingest any form of CSV files, for example, this iris dataset. 1 second. Okay, so we can type in a command to filter various sections of the dataset. For example, I say I want the sepal width to be more than 3 and petal length to be between 1 and 2, which I have previously typed. And we can see that yes, the filters do occur, showing that we can filter various complex datasets with just a command. But let's try to go with a more relatable one to show that it is quite dynamic. The medicine table shows various rows and attributes over here on screen, but we need to filter this, for example, based on the times of week to take the medicine. So let's filter with this, and it will successfully filter all of the conditions with the criteria on the table over here. So you need to remember that I did not call any external APIs and that the above method is self-trained. Although it's not robust, with better resources and fine-tuning, we can get this encoder-decoder model to work even better. So for quick understanding, this is how we made it happen. We match the keys of each column, and then we match the keys to the sentence, we find the number, and then we go through a model to filter the output and filter the table. So this is an oversimplification. There is a lot more detail going on. And yeah, that should be it for the demonstration. Let's go back to live Brendan. So let's move on to the solution architecture of Uncle. As you can see, for the front end, we'll be using React.js because, as we know, we can put variables into the inline CSS to further accomplish our goals. And this will be related to our database, which we will use Supervised in our case study, as well as the backend server, which implements Python connected with Fast API to the front end. We will be using other imported modules as well as TensorFlow, Keras, and SBIRD sentence transformers. For our competitor analysis, we can see that Uncle, even though it is a novel idea with no true competitors, we can see that we have some closely related competitors such as Handsfree for Web, Voxpal, and Hotjar. So over here, these are the differences between Uncle and the rest of our so-called competitors. However, Uncle truly stands out in the detection of user issue and the customizable website structure, which is our forte. As for our target market, we plan to target around 2.6 million senior citizens in Malaysia and the 50-55% estimate of those that acquire a smartphone. As for the TAM, SAM and SOM, it is right here. However, we want to look at 50 companies to adopt Uncle into the applications. As for our entrepreneurship opportunities, what we want to do is we want to try and research and refine Uncle into an even better and more polished product. After that, we can patent the idea and pitch as well as sell the idea to further boost our income from investors and developers as well as companies. This will be the business model of Uncle. We will look to have B2B because we are a business and we try to sell Uncle to other businesses. We also have grants and corporate CSR and licensing. And as you can tell by the percentages, this will be the amount of money inflow that will be the most for Uncle. This will be the projected revenue for Uncle, and as you can see, even with pessimistic projections, we are due a return on investment that is healthy, and this signifies Uncle's staying power in the market in the long term. Over here, this will be the pre-release and release timeline for Uncle. So before we get Uncle patented, we will need to do some testing and development. When we full launch, we will pitch to potential investors and users, as well as have integrations with the existing systems, and at the same time obtain user feedback as well. So we will also implement incremental releases for Uncle. As you can see, we'll have some constant inflow of insight and enhance accuracy by incorporating the aforementioned feedback. So we will also improve NLP and the speech recognition module, as well as integration with our own self-trained multimodal LLMs, if it is feasible, of course. And last, let's take a look at the post-release timeline. First, we will expand industry partnerships and then launch national context customization, where we'll incorporate various languages into Uncle. Next up, we will have some advanced analytics and improvement, and lastly, additional features later down the line will be added. So, remember that this is Uncle, where navigation is accessible for everyone. Thank you.